What are you waiting for to pull the trigger and further impose more restrictions, like a ring of steel, like a curfew?
What lockdowns enabled governments to do was, during this hype period where people were panicking, so much fear porn going around, it made them look like they were doing something. It was a visual representation of action and restriction. We're taking this seriously. Look how seriously we're taking this.
So the control group for this would be, say, New South Wales Berejiklian when she was under fire at press conferences for not doing enough.
Correct.
What is it going to take? What are you waiting for to pull the trigger and further impose more restrictions, like a ring of steel, like a curfew? What is it going to take?
We need to accept this is a different variant and you need to approach it in different ways. And can I just finish my sentence on that one? Fortunately,
had advice that a ring of steel, a curfew and further restrictions will not work because it's Delta, and therefore this is, you've been told, the health advice is there is no further we can go on restrictions.
oh look, if the health advice suggested to us there was further we needed to do, of course we would do that.
When are you going to acknowledge it's time to lock it down harder to get rid of this thing?
The people of New South Wales know that our government has access to the best health experts in our nation.
It's not shifting. The
And
numbers aren't shifting.
If we need to adjust those settings, we'll rely on the best health advice to do that.
With respect, the best health advice has just got us a 5-week lockdown. That's what the best health advice has got us, hasn't it? What if you lock it down harder? What if you do tougher public health orders? What if you say 1 hour of exercise a day and shut retail? Are you saying that would have no difference in terms of when we come out of this?
Oh, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you doing more?
Which
Do
she
you
eventually
actually
caved.
need to be doing more? On what basis? What is the cost benefit of you doing more? There was never a discussion like that. Where did you see any media in this country going, hey,
Undiscernible. Gigi Foster.
so where did you see media in this country that were mainstream journalists at these press conferences with these
Any real
politicians?
media, yeah.
I wouldn't have called that. I didn't use that. I didn't use
Oh.
those words. I said media at press conferences. That actually said to these politicians, what about the consequences? What evaluations have you done about the consequences of your actions?
It's funny you raised media saying that. I recall them, what do you call it?
You can recall.
I can recall. I recall them hassling, berating Berejiklian at a conference, and they were in such a frenzy, the way the journalists were saying, but you, because of you, and it's, I don't understand that. You talk about media are in it for clicks and so on. Yes, right, there's a pragmatic reason why they chase fear. But when I saw these journalists rabid against Berejiklian with a sense of emotion and fear about them, before when she was still refusing to lock down.
I very much think that the journalists bought their own bullshit for a good portion of it.
So you
I
think
saw some of the tweets from some of the Melbourne journalists. I'm like, you believe the garbage that you're spouting.
So they were also just fear.
I remember seeing one of them tweet something really snarky. Oh, well, masks don't work if your nose is out or something like that.
That was Daniel Andrews, but yeah. Go on.
Well, no.
Coles.
It was, I know the journalist who it was. I can't remember exactly what it was in regards to, but you see the things they like, you see the things they comment on, you see the things that they support. You go, no, you actually believe what you're spinning.
So
you
they were
actually believe it.
consumed with fear as well, the journalists.
I think a lot of them just bought what they were selling.
It appeared that way at this Berejiklian conference. You know, it's interesting as a comparison. When Trump came out in the US, he just defeated COVID. That sounds like his hero. He just got over his own COVID infection. He did this little video at the White House area, and he says, look, don't fear it. We can cope with it. Do what you need to do. We'll have a vaccine soon and we'll manage through it, but don't fear it.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines, all developed recently. And you're going to beat it. I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great, like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We have the greatest country in the world. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune, I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there, be careful. We have the best medicines in the world.
Which is probably the thing to say in a real pandemic, like keep your population calm.
Well, every pandemic plan, basically ever written globally, one of the first things in the plan is do not engage in excessive disruption to society to ensure that the measures that you're undertaking do not unintentionally cause wider consequences than the ones that you're trying to avoid.
I have read such things. But the interesting thing was the reaction to Trump's statement, which was pro-vaccine, pro-government, pro
It was
health,
you're not panicking hard enough.
Yes. They said he should not encourage people not to panic about this virus.
Yep.
So,
And I think everything about that statement, and I mean, look, let's be honest. Trump is not young, not in good health,
Yeah.
in any respect. And he walked away, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got the best of medical care,
Yeah.
but he walked away just fine.
Yeah.
If anyone was going to stand up and be like, I did okay, someone elderly and in terrible shape doing it is probably an indication. I think it was kind of too far down the track for that at that point. I think everything was just too far gone. People were just too terrified.
So what do you make of now when you still see some people scared? Some people still wear masks, but some people are visibly frightened wearing masks, the way they still glove up, latex gloves, they stand away from, you can see them reacting still, and I feel sorry for them. They've
Yeah.
been so scared. Some of them perhaps have cancer and they're immune compromised, sure, but there's way too many
That's an
people.
entirely different scenario, though. When you have cancer and you're immune compromised, I don't think people realise a cold
Don't
will
go-
end you in hospital
Yes.
in life-threatening
So
condition.
you
Like,
should not be at Chatties.
you should not be at Chadstone. You should not be near anyone who is not
Yeah.
screened for their health. This idea that there would be severely immune compromised people undergoing cancer treatment just having a jaunt around Chatty around hundreds of people is insane
It's
to me,
not
because
realistic though. They wouldn't.
not from any experience that anyone that I know that they or their loved ones have undergone cancer treatment. When you are at the point where you have essentially no immune system, you are told not to go near anyone, because if you get something, it will be really severe for you, and it is.
So this reinforces the point. The ones I am seeing around Chatty doing that, it's more of a fear complex or something's going on there. What do you make of this? I guess this is going to dovetail into the election result in Victoria. I feel like there's a whole bunch of people out there who are so susceptible, and good, well-meaning people. They're not I stand with Dan lovers. There's a whole bunch of people susceptible to government messaging. And so it's not sufficient to be over here saying, look, I've got Jay Bhattacharya from Stanford telling you it's safe, because they're just not listening. Whatever Carl Stefanovic says on the Today Show with Ali Langdon, that's what they hear, and that's what affects their lives. Do you see this, and is that a good conclusion to take from the Victorian election result, that there's this just 80% of sleepy people that just are too busy or are not interested in looking into nuance and facts and counterpoints?